let's go fishing. You know it's really great, let's go fishing. In the rivers and on the lakes, let's go fishing. It's easy when you try, floating on the water with good old Steve and Mike. Floating on the water with good old Steve and Mike.
Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing Show. And got Mike with me here tonight.
Yeah.
Good to have him back in the saddle. He's been under the weather at times, but he's getting better every day, and we just thank the Lord for it. Want to say hello to our IOUE guys at the local. I want to thank them for supporting us, keeping us going, and hopefully we can do a good show tonight and be in tip-top shape. We do have. I think there's quite a bit of film on my camera, and Mike's got some crappie fishing.
Yeah.
That we want to make sure we get a look at and that kind of thing. And David Ray, if you are listening, I'm going to give you a call, and I want you to send me that a flyer where giving the dates and times of the fishing tournament. There, I think you decided we was going to have it at Ladd's Landing, but if you would communicate with us and here in a little bit and send another copy. I had it on my phone and it's not there anymore. So, but do that. So anyway, we should have plenty of film for tonight's show, and we've got some decent fish and caught a lot of small fish, and so we're going to let Mike take over and fill us in on the crappie fishing there before you go to the film.
There ain't much crappie fishing been going on with the lake coming up and the muddy water, and it taking two weeks or three to get it cleared up a little bit, and then it gets right back muddy again, and them crappie don't want to bite too good with mud and rise and stuff there. They've been some crappie that's moved up shallow, but a lot of little ones in that. So I've talked to Gary there. He's been putting in down at Kingston and coming back up toward the Emery there and fishing and stuff, and he's catching a few crappie up there. I think I talked to him there last week, and he caught 6 keepers, and said he had 6 or 8 non-keepers, and stuff. It's been pretty tough, but it has cleared up there, and they did get the water back down, but then here come this other rain the other day, and muddy water going everywhere again. So, I guess if you jig fishing or flipping or something, it works out pretty good for you, but it's been pretty tough on the crappie fishing. They just don't want to bite too good when water's that muddy. And, hopefully we'll get back down there and try them again before too long. It clears up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's you're getting sand in your eyes, Mike. Yeah. That's what's wrong with them crappie. They got.
I guess you can call it that.
They got that muddy water and all that grit and stuff in that water, and so they're afraid to open their eyes.
Yeah, evidently.
They're waiting on the water to clear up.
Yeah.
And it just keeps every time you turn around. It's right back muddy again.
Yeah. You go down there and throw 15 or 20 different grubs or something there, solid chartreuse and whites and everything in between, and black ones with the chartreuse on them, and just all kinds of different colors, and you can't get one to bite, and give it a day or two in the water. They suck it down, it clears up a little bit, and you go back and you catch a few. But the water temperature's moved up quite a bit, and so they ought to be coming back up out of deep and making their way back into the creeks and around the brush and stuff, lay downs on the banks and stuff, and get back up shallow, 'cause some of them's catching 2 foot deep, some of them 3. And last time we was down on the lower end, we was back there in that 40-something foot of water again, and finally come back up in the creek there a little bit and caught some about 36, I guess it was. So, they're moving some, and that warm water starts hitting them, they start getting the urge to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Okay.
A
Well,
couple of them that I cleaned, the eggs was coming on up on them. They was getting big sacks of eggs. Wasn't a lot of color in them yet, but when they start getting that color in them, blood veins and all that stuff, and getting ready to hatch, that's when they going for a nest somewhere.
yeah.
So
Okay.
hopefully they'll make their move before long.
Well, right before we get started here, I want you to make sure you might need to put that third hook on there. Yeah. If 2 is working, the 3 ought to be better.
Yeah.
Huh?
Gary seems to think that one hook ain't no good because all he seems to catch was the catfish and the stripe.
Yeah. Well, next time you go back crappie fishing, make sure you put that third hook on there and see if it's any better. All right, Chandler, do your thing, man.
Got his throat now. That's a good one. I don't know where he got that in his throat at, but he got one in there. All right, folks, Gary got him one out there. I've had a couple of more bumps and stuff, but yeah. You make a good keeper there. We'll get him in the box and we'll make a good play out of him. All right, we appreciate it, and we'll go back after him. Yeah. All right, Gary's found him one down there. He's a little bit small. We'll throw him back, see if we can get some more. All right, we got a good in the bite there. He's a real nice crappie right there. He's about 15 inches. He's a good one. Real good. And wow, he'll fill the skillet up. All right, we'll get him in there. See if we can get a few more of them. Down and he knocked the power out of it. Yeah. There's a fair crappie there. 12 incher. Him off. If we can find a few more, we may have found a little school of them here. There, he got one on back there, but he don't think it's a crappie. Got his pole bent over.
Told you. It had whiskers.
Got whiskers on him. Well, he's a fat one too. All right. Okay, Gary, got him one there. Like a good keeper crappie.
What it beats a pussycat, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a nice one. Get him in the box, see if we can find a few more of them. It'll be good eating. There's something on here. Says he thought he had whiskers on it. I don't know.
Lord, that don't have whiskers.
Oh no. That's a crappie. Yes, that is a crappie.
Them three.
Oh, he sure is. I'm telling you what, that's a crappie. That's 16 or better. Yeah, it's a monster crappie. Big old fat belly.
Anything got anything.
Yeah,
You think?
yes sir, real Okay, Gary's got another one on there. We'll see what he's got here. Another good crappie. Oh, he's a little striper. Okay. Let's get back at him. All right. Another keeper crappie. Good. He'll make the frying pan easy. All right. Get him in the box and see if we can find some more. All right. Found another crappie down there. He's a good 11, 12 incher. He'll do good in that frying pan. Even better when I get him on the table. All right.
Fried potatoes and pinto beans. Oh,
Going to water. See it or not. Down here on it, but I'm showing a bunch of stuff out on the depth finder. I hope you can see it, but anyway, a lot of it's minerals, a lot of it's, I don't know what all it is, but ain't as much structure there because they ain't hit nothing yet. Anyway, we're gonna get back at them and see if we can get some more. That is a whopper there. Yes, sir. He's a good 16 incher, if not more.
yeah.
Well, them there fill the frying pan up just one by himself.
You got him?
Yeah, it'd take all day to eat that rascal. Right. Get back at him, see if we can find another one. All right, folks, we got another good crappie there. That's another nice one here. He'll do good on the table when we go to eat him. Yeah. All right, get back at him. Maybe we can find another one if this wind don't get too bad. All right, yeah, he's full of eggs and fat, everything else too. Man, he's a whopper. He ain't that long, but he sure got some meat on him now. All right. A dozen of them. Whew. Fill a pot up. All right, Gary, got him one here.
That's crappie. He's putting up a fight.
Yeah, mean rascal. That's yonder. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's one of them butter balls. That's right. Good. Beat that.
We'll keep that moment.
We'll keep batting too.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't think that was a crappie. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah, there's the big boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he showed up.
That's a pretty thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty one. You ain't kidding. Gary's got another one here. See if he got another one of them big crappie. Oh, he got a striper.
I got a straight too.
Gary's got another crappie there. He's a little bit small. We'll check him and see, but I don't think he'll make the grade.
Till by his mouth.
Yeah, yeah. We'll throw him back.
Thank you, Lord.
All right, we're back. Well, Mike, like you said, how many crappie did you have that day?
17.
You had 17.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good day to wind up with, with your health coming back and messing up like it did, and this, that, and the other. So I think that's a big plus. That's a good mess of fish.
Well, like I say, we've been waiting and waiting for the water to kind of clear up. Get back down there after them and stuff. Between that and everything else I've had to deal with, he ain't had time to go much.
Well, I've had some. There's a lot of fish catching on that camera of mine. I don't remember. I've been to the doctor several times and messed up on the fishing and this, that, and the other. But there's quite a bit of, I think early last week, I had caught 27 bass
Yeah.
and several stripers.
Mm-hmm.
And today I caught 18.
Well, that's great.
And a lot of them are small fish, but
Yeah.
I've had 4 or 5 good ones. I mean, dandies.
Yeah, that's
So, we're going to go to the film and we're going to sit right here and I'm going to try to learn something and be a little more efficiency in my casting and stuff. But that dang wind, for
oh, Lord, yeah.
yeah, when you throw that crankbait out there and it comes back at you, there's a lot of wind.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
we're going to turn Chandler loose and see what all we got.
I heard that.
All right, Chandler. Oh, yeah, folks, that's a good-looking bass right there. For sure. See if I got my dang camera on here. Yeah, I believe we got him. All right, back in the water with him. All right, folks, get him focused in here. Good fish. Good. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, boy, that's a dandy. Good deal. Back in the water with him. Just like that. Ah. All right, folks, got a good little fish right there. Make a dandy. I'm gonna check and measure him here right quick. All right, folks, there's the second fish. I didn't have my camera when I caught the first one. There's number 2, looking good. We're down here at Little Emery. We're gonna work our way down towards the ferry bridge. Anyway, back in the water. All right, folks, there we are with another pretty good little fish right there now. Dandy. Nice. Let's get him back in the water. It's another one. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there now. That's pretty good. All right, back in the water he goes. That's a dandy. All right. All right, folks, there's another pretty good little fish right there now. I'm telling you. All right, we get him back in the water and get another. All right, folks, there's fish number 1. That's a pretty good little smallmouth right there. Looks like a dandy. Back in the water he goes. All right, folks, there's fish number 2. Boy, they got a little weight on them. Looking good. All right, get him off and get him back in the water. All right. Got a nice looking fish right there now. Yeah, boy, good. Dandy, let's see if we can get another one here right quick before the sun goes down on us. All right, folks, there's a good little old smallmouth right there now. Nothing wrong with them right there. They good ones. All righty, we'll get him back in the water and see if we can't pick up another. All right. There's a good little old striper. Good deal, buddy. We'll get you back in the water and get another. All right, folks, there's another good striper. Another good one. They seem to be stacked up on that pretty good right there. We'll get him back in the water. See if we can get another. All right, folks, there's another good striper. Yeah, they healthy. They dandies right now. All right, back in the water and we'll get another. All right, folks, there's another good striper. I mean, a dandy. We'll get him back back in the water and let him keep on doing his thing. All right, folks, there's another good striper. I mean, they're loaded up right here on this point. There's some dandies here. Sure enough. Yeah, look at it. Oh, yeah. Lay down, old buddy. Oh, that's a good. All right, back in the water with you. All right, folks, there's another good striper. There, get him off and get him back in the water and get another. All right, folks, there's another good striper. Man, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8, 10 maybe. They're hungry, they're after it. All right, folks, there's another one. I mean, you know, when you're catching them about every cast or every other cast, a gang of fish right in there. Them stripes, they look good. Here we go, back in the water. All right, there's another one of them good looking stripers. All right, back in the water he goes, and probably be the last one. Head back towards the trail. All right, folks, there's a real nice smallmouth right there. Pretty fish, healthy looking. I mean, a dandy. All right, we're gonna get him back in the water. Yeah, boy. Here we go, little buddy. There he is. There you go. All right, folks, there's another smallmouth. Now that there's not great big, but oh, that first one was a dandy. And yeah, nice looking fish, pretty fish. Yeah, buddy. All right, we're gonna get him back in the water and see if we can get another. There we go. All right, folks, there's a dandy largemouth. Nice and healthy looking fish. Real good looking fish. All right, we're gonna get him back in the water. Get us another. All right, folks, there I got a bite all right, but it wasn't the right species, but he's a pretty good sized fish. So I'm gonna get him up, get my glasses back on, and try to get him in the water just as quick as I can. He's a dandy. Back in the water. Let's make sure, yeah, we got him on film. Back in the water. All right, folks. Just got started here fishing and got 2 dozen casts and caught a big old drum, so I'll get him off and we'll get on something worthwhile. All right, folks. Second cast, got a nice largemouth there. I mean a dandy. Yeah, boy. That's getting up there close to that 4 foot, or 4 pounds anyway. Man, that's a nice fish. I'm telling you what, that's a dandy. All right, we get him back in the water, turn him loose. There you go, baby. Good deal. Hang on. All right, folks, there's another one of them stripers. A dandy. That's a dandy. We'll get him back in the water, get another one, I'm sure. All right, folks, there's a big old striper. I just hope I can get my bait out of this mouth. I'm sure gonna try it. All right, I'll get him loose and get him back in the water. All right, folks, there's that first fish. Hadn't been there but just a little bit. Nice fish. That's good. Sure is. Dandy. All right, we'll get him back in the water. See if we can't get us another. Second fish in here. That's a good keeper. Dandy keeper. All right, back in the water he goes. All right, folks, there's fish number 3. He's a good one. Back in the water with him. Here we go. There you go, buddy. Take off. Yeah. Fine dandy. Man, I want you to look here what a bass I've got. Golly bum. That sucker must weigh 8 pounds or better. Goodness gracious alive. Hold still now, baby. Hold right still. I'll get you. God, bum, what a fish. Goodness gracious alive. I want you to look. I want you to look, what a fish. God, bum. All right. I'm going to put you back in the water, old gal. Me and you talking about a fish now. I'm telling you, that is a dandy. God, bum. Here she goes. Back to you. There you go. God. Goodness gracious alive. Man. Boy, if that wasn't a dandy. All right, folks. There's another good fish right there. There's another one. Good deal. Make sure got the camera on right. Everything's looking real good. Back in the water. He goes. Can't see. Oh yeah, there's another good fish, folks. Dandy, another good fish. Back in the water he goes. All right, folks, there's another good 3-pound fish, man, I'm telling you. A dandy. All right, back in the water. Going back in the water. Here we go. Oh, yeah. There you go, buddy. Good deal. Yeah. All right, folks, there's another good little fish. Folks, there's you a big crappie right there. I mean a dandy. Alright, we're gonna get him back in the water. Alright, folks, there's another good 3-pound fish. I mean a dandy. Alrighty, we're gonna get him back in the water. Alright, folks, there's another good fish. We'll get him back in the water and see if we can get another. All right, folks, there's the first fish for the morning. Got a nice one here. I mean a dandy. Back in the water with him. All right, folks, there's the second fish. Number 2. Good looking keeper. Good looking keeper. All right, back in the water with him. All right, folks, got a little small largemouth there. I'm gonna throw back in there and see if I can get his helper. There. All right, folks, there's our first largemouth. Gosh, them stripers just been eating us up. Back in the water we go with him. All right, folks, there's another good little old fish. We're just gonna stay after them. See if we can keep getting them. All right, back in the water with him. All right, folks, there's a good looking fish right there now. It's a dandy. She's full of eggs. Looking good, looking good. Get her back in the water. And there she goes. All right, folks, I got another pretty good fish here. We'll got him unhooked, and we're gonna put him back in the water. Good deal, though, buddy. Yeah. All right, folks, there's another pretty good little fish. He ain't bad at all. Looks good, looks good. Get him back in the water, and we'll see if we can get another. All right, folks, I got a good 3.5-pound largemouth here. Yeah, I mean a dandy. Maybe more like 4. All right, we're gonna get him back in the water. Yep, there he is. Take off, buddy. All right. folks, there's our first fish. Good little old fish there. We'll get him back in the water, see if we can't get another one. All right, folks, there's a good looking fish right there now. Nothing wrong with that, baby. All right, we'll get him back in the water. That's a good sure is. There you go, okay. Right there's a good 4.5, 5 pounder right there, folks. First fish on the day. Man, it's a good one. God, I mean a dandy. All right, back in the water, old gal. Yeah, we'll get you right back. There you go. All right. All right, folks, there's another good keeper fish right there. Another good one. All right, we'll get him back in the water, see if we can't get another. Looking good, looking good. Here we go. Yeah, there you go, old buddy. All right, folks, there's another good keeper fish right there. Yeah, boy. Let's get him back in the water. Get us another. Yeah, there you go, buddy. All right, folks, there's another good fish. I mean, another good one. All right, we'll get him back in the water. Go from there. Good, nice keeper. Nice keeper fish, yeah. Old steel, buddy, good keeper fish. Good fish, yeah. Dandy. Good fish, here we go. Back in the water he goes. All right, folks, there's another good fish. I mean, that gummy. They're right here. They're right here. Prettiest you ever seen. There you go. All right, folks. There's another good keeper bass right there. A good one. All right, back in the water with him. Thank you, old buddy. Yeah, boy, you're doing good. Look at you there. There you go. Thank you. All right, folks, there's another good fish. Yeah, another good fish. I tell you what, I can't complain today about how things are going and what we're catching and all that kind of stuff. They're working on it. All right, folks, there's third, fourth fish I've caught. There's 3 little ones and a good one right here. All right, we get him back in the water, or her back in the water. Good fish, good fish. Oh, he's a dandy. There you go. All right, folks, there's another good keeping bass right there. Nice one. All right, get him back in the water. Hold on just a second. Here we go. All right, folks, there's a nice fish right there now. Man, I had a big one on a little bit earlier and got a good fish right here. Nothing wrong with that fish right there at all. Nothing wrong with him. Yeah, there you go, old buddy. All right, folks, there's a non-keeper bass. We're gonna get him back to the lake. See if we can't get one a little bigger. All right, back you go, old buddy. All right, folks, there's a decent fish right there. Looks pretty dang good to me. Looks real good. All right, we'll get him back in the water. All right, folks, there's another good looking fish right there now. Pretty sure he's a keeper. All right, we'll get him back in the water here. Oh, yeah, he's looking good. All right, folks, there's a pretty nice fish right there now. And, I mean, you know, It's a good keeper. Good keeper. Yeah, we're gonna put it right back there. I've caught 3 or 4 that size right there, right here in the last 5 minutes. So back to water it goes. All right, folks, there's a little better fish that time. Good looking fish. Here we go. All right, folks, there's a good keeper bass right there now, for sure. No doubt about it, man. I've caught a lot of fish today. I've had 2 or 3 big ones on, and just, I mean, yeah, anywhere that's shallow water they can get a little bit of depth on right now, they're eating it up. So we'll get back off of here and see if we can get another one. All right, folks, there's a dandy. I mean, a good one. Dadgummit, it's a nice one. All right, that fish weighs close to 4 pounds, a lot better. All right, we can get her back in the water, turn her loose. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there now. Sure enough. Yep, buddy, it's a dandy. Another good. All right, we'll get her back in the water. See what happens here. All right, folks, there's another good fish right there now. Another good one. We'll get him back in the water. Here we go. All right, folks, there's a decent fish right there now. Nothing wrong with that fish. Not one bit. All right, back in the water with him. All right, folks, there's a good looking fish right there now. That fish is almost 3 pounds. That's a good one. We're going to put him back in the water. All right, folks, there's another nice keeping fish right there now. It's a good one. Back in the water with him. There you go, old buddy. Gosh, is it over already? Dang, man, I was just getting warmed up.
Yeah. Yeah, got some good fish there, no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
I tell you what, Mike, yeah, I definitely had some nice fish right through there. I mean, this, well, the 2 or 3 times there you heard the wind blowing so daggum hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
no
that
doubt.
was in January, and then I think in February I only got to go twice, and then most of it's been there at Ladd's Landing, in that vicinity, and I missed 2 good fish. I mean dandies today, and a couple of those was there in the slough there, and I caught 3 fish out of there. Caught one good, nice one. I mean a 4-pluser, and turned right around 3 casts later with that dang rattle trap, and that son of a gun, he'd come 5 foot out of the water. And throwed the bait, and I said, son of a gun. So anyway, you know, you've seen enough of the lures, 2 lures. Well, today I put a rattle trap on,
Yeah.
and the first go around with the rattle trap so far, and like I said, I caught 3 or 4 fish there in that little old pocket. Had one 4-pounder, 4-pluser, and then, you know, 10 casts later is when I hooked that one on that rattle trap, and he's like a rocket, shaking that head up and down in the air, you know, so anyway, he got off, and so I caught a few more fish, and it's it's just been good, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the deal is. When you in that muddy water, get you a crawdad colored crankbait, and when you're in the clear water, get you a shad bait.
Yeah.
I kept 2 rods laying on the deck of the boat. If it was stained with muddy water, I was throwing that brown crawdad looking color, and if it was clean water, I was throwing the shad color. And it's just, it's not only going to, it's just going to get better, and I was kind of hoping to get, I don't know, maybe move farther down the lake, but that dang muddy water just keeps showing back up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just keeps showing back up, and but there's fish in it. There is fish in it, and if you get the right color bait, it might take they may hit chartreuse better. Don't have a clue. I've 2 baits is what I've been fishing, and when the water was clear and clean, why I'd throw that shad color, and whenever it got brown looking, I'd throw in that crawdad.
Yeah. Them fish is starting to move up and feed good. I've heard reports there that one 10-pounder better over on Loudon, and then I had a report that somebody in a tournament over here on Milton Hill had 30 pound or so.
Well, which I can't, I'm glad for them if they did, if that's the case, if they, that sounds good. That means they're catching them too. So,
I ain't heard of that stringer of fish come off it over there in a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, heck, that was when we had a big tournament over there, and that's when, what's his name, and then caught, how many pounds did they have? Almost 40 pounds, wasn't it?
Loudon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Faulkner boys had 42 pounds.
Yeah.
By fish over there.
Sure did. Had bags of ice stacked up on the front of the boat.
Yeah.
Trying to keep them fish alive, and I appreciate them trying to do that. I hope they all swam off.
Yeah.
In that hot weather, it don't take,
I think the week before, when Crabtree had 37 pound out Watch Bar.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Written.
Yeah. Sure do.
Yeah.
Old Billy Wheat, he's been pretty steady on Watts Bar here he started in January and caught 2 or 3 good fish, and then fell right into February, done the same thing, and says good to be on the bar, and they caught some nice fish, and then they're back in March, this past month, they caught some good fish. So anyway, I was hoping we'd hear from Rod Garrett. Rod Garrett is over in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I told that rascal what channel we was on, and he may call in here any minute. You can't never tell. Hard to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the chip out of my camera and put a new one in, and I'll throw that one in the briefcase. Might have to rely on it again sometime when we're not here.
Yeah.
Like a night tournament or something. Or just night fishing, really.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What that amounts to. But let's see how much time we got left. Oh, we got about 15 minutes left. Good. Mike, I know, give me some point. Give me some idea. You got all this electronic stuff now.
Well, yeah.
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 It's in boxes.
Yeah.
I seen it. I seen the boxes. I know they had locators and stuff in them boxes there that you had covered. You thought you had them hid, but
No.
there's too big a box to try to hide. So go ahead and tell me about your getting your electronics fixed up?
Well, if it hadn't been such good deals on it, I probably wouldn't have bought them. But I was able to get a pretty good deal on them, and I bought the HDS Pro 12-inch, and then I bought the Active Target to go with it. And but I'm still studying on how I'm going to mount it and everything about it. And I'm trying to. I don't want to try to mount everything up there in the way on the front, and then when you get in the back there with your big motor, you can't see it, and then you put it back there to the back, and then when you get up there fishing, you can't see it. So I'm going to try to make it portable where I can move it from back at the console and then take it up front and be able to watch it from up there too when I'm fishing. So, just hunting and searching, that thing's, find out how good it is before it's over with.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't let you get. I'll help you whenever you tell me what you need. I'll try to make myself available where I can help you. Get some of that stuff done, and it's I can't. I'm all anxious to see how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So sooner the better.
Well, the Active Target will plug right up into yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on the dash right there. Just plug it in right there and put the transducer in the water, and you're gone with it.
Yeah.
It said, your unit said that it was compatible, Active Image and Active Target both. So,
Yeah.
and like I say, to be able to cover both bases, then you'd have to have two of those units.
Yeah.
And Lord have mercy.
Well, don't you think the guy in the back of the boat ought to have the same
No.
same chances as the guy in the front's got?
No.
Well, I mean, you just need to go over and buy another one, and then you can put one
right,
shooting back and one shooting forward.
I spent enough on it. I didn't want to spend $10,000 to buy two of them and all that.
Well, anyway, let me do this little
The
thing.
biggest thing is my trolling motor won't adapt to all this new stuff they got that they're putting on, like your trolling motor that sets over to the side of it, and you can pick it up and down and stuff, and it's got the pointer indicator where you can turn it left or right and scan where you want to when you see something and hold it there at it. Even if you put the spot lock on, you can lock that thing in on a certain direction and stuff. And
So you're saying that your trolling motor's mounted right in the front, right in the nose?
well, no, my trolling motor's mounted just like yours, but the way my self-deploy goes, you can't put nothing hanging on it because the way it comes up and folds up. And
It might bust your electronics if you close up on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's on that, comes into that other scenario that you've got there that you're working on. That I understand that more now, because of the, like you said, if you were to fold that trolling motor up, why, it's busted.
Yeah.
Something's broke.
Yeah, the way it folds up on a thing, it would. Ain't no way you can hang one out the side of it and everything.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds
They
good.
make a special piece that bolts up in the bottom of yours up there next to the head and sticks out to the side, and then they make that piece that goes down to the bottom down there and sticks out and stuff. And it's got the rod that runs up and down. It does the turning and everything. Got that little motor in it. Everything where you can scan this way or that way and all that.
Well, that's at the bottom of this turning back and forth, that's where you got a forward and a down on your transducer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, why don't you just go ahead and put one here and then put one back here, and then I'll have one.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's
mean-
where the screen's at. The biggest thing is, you move it up front where you can see it, and you mount it up front. And when you get back there and try to scan a bank or something going down through there, then you can't see the depth finder up there.
Well, we just
You
need
put
to.
it back here in the back, and then the man up front don't know where he's going or what he's looking at.
And I
back
think
on the
I'll
dash.
have the same option as you have. If you're on the front of the boat. And you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
then
I
you-
can tell you, you might as well just get up there beside me then. I can tell you.
All right, Mike, I'm just aggravating you.
You get to looking at it, old 7 boats over there, they had
Yeah.
two depth finders up front and maybe 3 on the dash or something, and dang frog legs hanging off the back of them, and all the other electronic stuff they put on, or electric stuff between the trolling motors and all that. Well, shoot, they got $20,000-$30,000 in just electronics besides buying the boat and the big motor.
Yeah.
And they wonder how come they cost $100 and something thousand for the rig.
Well, what the heck?
Most of these younger kids it's growed up on this video games and all this other stuff. And they're a lot better at this thing because they know how to tune these things in and all that.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. Shoot, you take a 12, 15-year-old and he's had good grades. Look out.
Yeah.
He gonna know just exactly
Yeah.
what that thing,
Yeah.
when and where and how.
Yeah, well, it's like that comedian told them on TV there that day. Said if you need help with your cell phone or computer or something, ask the 9-year-old. They can fix it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Granddaughter, she's a 7-year-old, and she operates that dang tablet and that remote and stuff for that TV like it ain't nothing. She just fly through it like ain't never been there. Me and my wife both, we just stand there and look at it because
Yeah.
we can't figure it out.
That's me. I have a lot of trouble. Let me run over this here right quick. This is about the fishing tournament. It says fishing for missions, 23rd annual bass tournament, April the 26th, 2025. The launch is at Ladd's Landing, and that's 1000 Waterford, PI, Kingston, Tennessee, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Entry fee is $75, $40 towards the tournament, and $10 towards the big fish. So, sounds pretty good. And that's on the 26th of April,
Entry fee was $75.
$75, yeah.
Yeah.
So, that, but that's the money that's going to the missions at the church.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
good deal on
Yes,
that.
sir.
You can't miss it. You got $25 for the missions, and you got $50 for the boat and the tournament. So David Ray's done a good job. He's got us fixed up good. So moving right along, we've got about 6 minutes yet. What's your plans for the next few days? I mean, as far as you're going to be able to work on your electronics, get some of that stuff done.
Yeah. Grass to mow.
Grass to mow. Ah, shucks.
Yeah.
We'll just have to
It's growing fast, too.
Well, I didn't tell you the grass ain't much more than
It might
inch
be
tall, but
at your house, but
Yeah.
it ain't mine.
yeah, it's
I
shaved off pretty good.
I
at
made
the house.
mowed 3 days ago, and it's already looks like it's 6 inches higher more. It's going fast. Turning dark green and everything. It's coming on with it.
Yeah.
And I still got the grass to mow.
Okay. Let's take a couple of minutes right here and let me see if I can get a hold of this guy right
Yeah,
here.
I got one mower there with a flat tire and probably need to put a battery in it too, and another mower that probably needs a battery. So, you know.
Siri, call, let's see. Siri, call Rod Garrett, mobile. Okay, come on. To who? I didn't get that. Siri, would you call Rod Garrett, mobile? No, that's not it. Let me see if I can get his picture back up here. Shucks. Let's see here. Whoop, that's not it. Okay, Mike, go ahead and keep talking and let me,
I got weather forecasting there a little bit. I think breezy tomorrow, but then it's supposed to start getting in the 80s, I think. This front stalling out like it is and everything. I think we had a 20% chance of rain Thursday and Friday. But, the main thing is they're gonna wind, you know.
yeah.
Learn to deal with the wind, how much is it gonna be. They're blowing limbs out of trees and blowing people's garbage cans over and garbage going everywhere. You know, it's wind and something else.
Well, I won't argue that at all, Mike. That's a no-brainer. Let's see. I want to make another note over here on my let's go fishing, but I want it on the shucks. Where is? Yeah, 1086. Okay. BBB Communications 1086.
Yeah, 1086. That's right.
Okie dokie. All right. How close are we? We got 2 minutes. Chandler, we're going to be set for the end of the month, April.
What's that?
I say we're going to be ready to go come the end of the month in April.
As long as you guys come in,
As long as you guys come in.
well.
See, there you go, Mike. Now you know you can't be laying out and missing. There's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be here.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, you know. So, but like I said a minute ago, I've got 2 of those mini chips in the briefcase. I'm gonna put one in that.
1 minute.
Take that camera out and go. All righty, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm just the last little bit here, the last month and a half. I've had several fishing trips and have caught several fish, and I'm just tickled to death for that. I hope we can carry that on and keep things going. But Chandler, we're gonna let you sign off, and we'll see you down the road.
Here, from our sponsors.
Let people know what we represent.
That's what we're all about. We do try to do